This is 3 days on an old cruise ship in the Bahamas and you're coming along. We will be visiting Key West and Bimini, all while enjoying our old but unique cruise ship. You will also be seeing onboard activities, dining, and entertainment. My name's Dawson from DuckDuckCruiser.com, and you'll be joining us on Jewel of the Seas. But first, let's go back to the beginning. As you can see, we just passed through security, but now we can head over to the check-in area. After checking in, we made our way to the seating area that, yes, was very packed. And after waiting around 20 minutes, our row was called and it was time to board. And yet again, we had to go through another check-in, but after that, it's a straight shot to the ship. Pretty much right as we got on board, we headed over to our mustard station. After we checked in and watched a little demonstration, we headed straight up to the buffet. But before we sit down and eat, I should probably tell you about the buffet. The buffet on board is called the Windjammer and is located on deck 11 at the aft of the ship. Here you'll find all sorts of food options in a very unique Royal Caribbean buffet. There are also plenty of windows and there's even an outside eating area. Well, enough of that, it's time to eat. And after getting some food, we sat down and I absolutely destroyed this lunch. After finishing that delicious meal, we exited through the back and made our way up one deck. This would be a great way to get to the front of the ship with a nice feel of what was going on and also just to see the ship. Now, if you're actually wondering why we do need to go to the front, well, you're just kind of a wait and see what that might be. And now it's time to reveal where we're going, and if you couldn't already tell, we're heading to the bow of the ship. Now some of you might already know that this is my absolute favorite place on any cruise ship, so you already know that we had to check this out as soon as we could. And after spending probably way too much time out there, it was time to head up to the room. And here we are, room 9600. Stepping into the room, you have a closet area off to the left. Here you will find plenty of space for your clothes and you can even find your life jackets here. Stepping further into the room, you'll find a desk with mirrors and plenty of drawers. You'll also see that there are a few plugs that you can use, but I do recommend bringing a European adapter just to open up more plugs. There is also a safe in the top drawers over the desk, which is big enough to actually store a laptop. And right below that is where you will find your mini fridge, but this is really more like a chiller than a fridge. Across from the desk, you will find your couch, which can be made into a bed in this room. Complementing the couch is a coffee table to set some stuff on. Even further into the room is where your beds are, and in this case they are split, but they can be put together. There is also more storage and 2 nightstands to set things on. Taking a step back to the entrance of the cabin is where you'll find your bathroom. This is a pretty standard bathroom, and something nice to see is that there is no shower curtain, which is always a plus. This bathroom also has a good amount of storage considering the size. And now that we've actually entered the cabin, let's head to the balcony. And I'll let the views speak for themselves. And well, after checking out the cabin and relaxing for a while, it's time to hit the bow for sail away. Oh, that was absolutely beautiful sail away. Actually, probably ranks one of the best I've ever had. Just, you know, it's just great you actually get to go out on the front because not many ships actually offer that anymore, which is a disappointment. But anyways, we do have dinner in just a little bit of time, so we do need to get ready for that. But that is going to be the next thing we do. Dinner. Alright, let's get ready. Well, while we are still on our way to dinner, we do need to get one thing before we do that. And there's also one place that I should probably tell you about first, and that is the Shops of Centrum. This is where all the shops are on board, and this is also where you can get all of your Royal Caribbean merchandise. There is also some other shops that cruise ships are known for, but we came here for the Royal Caribbean shop. And if y'all watched my last video, you would probably know of our weird obsession of buying ship models, so you probably already guessed what we came here to get. That would be the ship model. And yes, that is the one thing we do need to get before dinner. And now that we have bought our ship model, we can go eat at Tides. Now Tides is the main dining room on board of Jewel of the Seas and spans 2 decks. The design of the main dining room is actually pretty nice and gives off an old Royal Caribbean vibe. As for the food, well, let's get seated and try before I talk about it more. And after being seated, we were handed our menus and also served our drinks. And as you can see here, I went for the water. Next came out some bread to start off our meal, and just like usual, the bread was very good. And after the bread, we put in our orders, and shortly after that, our appetizers came out, and somehow again, I went for the Caesar salad. Don't ask how this happens, but it just happens. Next, our main courses came out, and I went for the prime rib, and let me just say, this did not disappoint at all. This was a very good steak. And then our desserts came out, and I must have accidentally ordered 2, definitely. But anyways, I went for the royal cheesecake and the key lime pie. And while both were good, the cheesecake was definitely better than the key lime pie. And after finishing up our desserts, it was time to head somewhere else for the night. But first, we gotta walk off this meal, and what better place to do that than the promenade? And something interesting I found was a place for dogs to go to the bathroom, and you might be wondering why this is even here. Well, there are a few people on board with dogs, and something I also am interested in, and make sure to comment this down below. Do you think dogs should be allowed on cruise ships or not? Comment down below. Anyways, after hiding at duck, it's time to head to the Safari Club for some live music. But before we sit down, I should probably tell you about the Safari Club. Here is basically just a big lounge with a bar, stage, and some nice staff views. You can also find entertainment happening here along with self-leveling pool tables, which we may or may not be trying later. Anyways, that's pretty much all the Safari Club has to offer. Oh yeah, and a little book place. And as we make our way in, I spot a perfect place to hide a duck. Anyways, let's sit down and chill for a little bit. And after spending some time in the Safari Club, I think it's time to get some more entertainment and watch a show. And it feels like I keep doing this, but I really do need to tell you about the Coral Theater. The Coral Theater is the main theater on board and is where all the production shows happen. Here you'll find a large 2-story place with plenty of seating and entertainment options. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get a seat and let the show start. And when I mean let the show start, I mean like 5 to 10 minutes of waiting before that happened. And now that the show is finished, I think it's time to head back up to the cabin and call it a night. Good morning, y'all, and I say we enjoy this morning as usual on the balcony. Well, enough of this, let's get some food. And yet again, we will be eating in the Windjammer. And after getting our food, we found a spot and sat down, and as you can see, I went for some pastries, hash browns, and a pineapple. And as you could tell, this was a pretty good breakfast. Oh, buffet. Alright, we just got back from the buffet eating some amazing breakfast. Maybe a little too many sweets, but we're on a cruise. Anyways, what I'm actually here to tell you is that we do have some stuff to do in Key West and where we're going tomorrow. So we are about to do that, but what I do actually have to tell you guys is that you aren't going to see everything that we do in these ports, but I'm not gonna scam you guys. You guys are still seeing a good amount of stuff. If you do want the full in-depth of like everything we did in these ports, full like kind of like review, that will be in a separate video we are gonna make later. But like I said, not scamming you guys, you still are gonna see a good amount of stuff. It still will be like a complete like, oh, this is satisfying. If you want to see more, that video is right up your alley, and I will have that linked at the end of the video, so if you want to see that. I think I do hear Key West calling my name, so let's go head out. Ugh. And now that we're off the ship, it's time to rent a golf cart. And now that we have our golf cart, it's time to see a few places. But yet again, I'm just showing you the highlights here pretty much. If you want to see more, you gotta watch that other video. Oh yeah, and if you needed another reason to watch that video after this one, well, I think I found the best ice cream in Key West, and if you want to know what that is and where it is, well, you're just gonna have to watch that video. So we just got back from that excursion. Yet again, if you want to see more of it, you gotta watch that one video. But what I'm here to actually tell you is that we do need to eat some kind of lunch. Now this lunch might be the main dining room, might be pizza, might be buffet. I don't even really know right now. So whatever we end up getting, you'll just see that. Why do I do this in the bathroom? I don't know. Yet again, we will be eating in the Windjammer, so let's grab a plate and get some food. And after finding a spot and sitting down, it's time to try our food, and while this might not be the best food in the world, it sure is pretty good. Anyways, let's destroy this meal while we're at it. And now that our food is destroyed, let's head down to the Schooner Bar and play some games. And now is also a good time to tell you about the Schooner Bar. The Schooner Bar is a classic Royal Caribbean bar, and on this ship, it has a really cool and classic design. Along with this cool design is a bar, place for live music and trivia, and plenty of seating with ocean views. Anyways, let's grab a seat and a drink and enjoy some trivia. Oh yeah, by the way, this mango daiquiri thing was just okay. I'm not the biggest fan of mango anyways. The trivia on for today was superhero trivia, but not in the way that you would think. You have to know their human names, so for example, Tony Stark is Iron Man, and that's pretty much how it works. And as for the score, well, let's just not talk about that. Anyways, let's go try out some pool tables and maybe see if we have better luck on that than trivia. And well, let's just say I didn't have any luck there either. Anyways, the ship is about to leave, so let's head up to the bow and watch sail away. And now that the ship has sailed away and is on its way to Bimini, I think we should head to the main dining room and get something to eat. And something I should also mention is that on these 3-day cruises, there is no formal night, which might not be the saddest thing in the world, especially for me, but this also means that there is no lobster night, which yet again is not really sad for me, but I know a lot of people do love their lobster, so this might be a little bit of a disappointing thing to hear. Just want to let you guys know. Anyways, now that we're seated and have our menus, let's put in our orders and get some bread. And after the bread came out came the appetizers, and I don't know why I went for this, but I got calamari, which I'm gonna just say right now was not that good. But the whole reason I got this, even though I don't even like seafood, is because one time when I was at Olive Garden, I got some calamari, and it pretty much just tasted like fried nothing, and that was honestly pretty good then, so I thought this would taste like that too. It really didn't. Yeah, it just was not that good. Anyways, now on to something better, which would be our main courses, and I went for the beef tenderloin, which tasted very similar to the prime rib, and just like the prime rib, the beef tenderloin also tasted very good. As for dessert, I was feeling pretty full, so I decided just to get a cup of hot chocolate, which I can say was very good, and what I can say also about it is that they use milk instead of water, which is always a plus. Now that dinner is finished, we do want to head to the show for tonight, but we do want to walk off this meal, all while getting a great view, so let's head out to the promenade. Alright, enough of this, and let's head to the show. Oh yeah, by the way, I should probably mention that this is not a production show, but it is a comedian. And after just an okay comedian, I think we should just look around the ship, see what's happening, but probably go to bed a little earlier for our day in Bimini tomorrow. Well, good morning, y'all, and I think we should probably go get some breakfast. Since the ship is not docked yet, this will just be a good time to, eat. So yeah, let's go do that. And yet again, we are eating in the Windjammer, but something I do have to say is that in our next new cruise video, so not the port videos, I will try my best to be going to some cooler restaurants, and along with that, if you've made it this far, you're probably enjoying this video, so I would really appreciate a sub. And not only will it help me, it'll also help you because you'll get to stay up to date with new videos that come out, and I promise you, this next new cruise video, it's going to be a cool one, so you want to stay tuned for that. Anyways, as you can see, I went for some more pastries, a yogurt parfait, and some hash browns, and this meal overall was pretty good. Alright, so we just got back from breakfast, and now we're about to head out into Bimini. You gotta be a little careful of the golf cart thing. If you want more information on that, yet again, you're gonna have to watch that main tour port video that will be coming out later. You're just gonna have to watch that to find out what that is. It's a super useful and important safety tip that you need to know. But anyways, we are gonna go out on the golf cart. You're gonna see what we do. Same kind of deal with Key West, very similar. And now that we're off the ship, let's head over to the tram and get to the golf carts. And here we are at the main golf cart rental place, so in order to get a cart, we gotta go bargain for one, and then we'll be able to set off. And since our golf cart rental was for only 2 hours, the time flew by, and before we knew it, it was already time to head back to the ship. But don't worry, we still have more to do on the ship, and yet again, if you want to see more of Bimini, it's in that other video. And if you're wondering what else there might be to do, well, let's just get changed real quick and then I'll show you. Yep, if for whatever reason you couldn't already guess, we are going to be trying out the pool. Oh yeah, and while this pool is very nice and refreshing, something you should probably know is that for whatever reason, this pool is very deep, like 6 foot pretty much everywhere deep, so just want to let you guys know that. And after that refreshing swim, I was feeling pretty hungry, so let's head to the Windjammer for some lunch. I decided to get some chicken parm with pasta, fries, and a bacon burger, which all tasted pretty good. Alright, now that lunch is finished, let's head to the Schooner Bar. Wait, is that an ice cream machine? Anyways, as I was saying, let's head to the Schooner Bar. And now that we are seated, I think it's time for the best activity one could do right now, Ratatouille Uno. And after spending some time in the Schooner Bar, we wanted a change of scenery, so we headed to Vintages where yet again we played Ratatouille Uno. And after a few great rounds of Uno, it's time for the ship to sail away. Well, one last sail away later, and it's time for dinner back in the main dining room. So now that we have seated and got our bread and drinks, let's put in our orders for tonight, and by the way, it is also Caribbean night, so that's kinda cool. Anyways, after that horrid calamari experience I had last night, I decided to go back to the Caesar salad, which tasted way better than that calamari. And up next is my main, and I went for the jerk chicken, which I normally wouldn't have ordered, but I did it anyways, and this was definitely worth it, unlike that calamari. Anyways, so yeah, this tasted pretty good. And as for dessert, I went for the royal chocolate cake, which was an absolutely amazing way to end off a good meal. Oh yeah, and midway through my dessert, all of the dinner staff came out and started to dance around and have a good time. And not only were the dining staff having fun, but also Spider-Man. So since we do need to head to bed even earlier than yesterday so we can wake up early the next morning, let's just look around the ship, see what's happening, see some cool interesting stuff, and then we're just gonna head to bed, kinda like we did last night. Good morning, y'all. I think we should get a little breakfast before we get off the ship. Thanks for watching today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, sub, comment, share, all that stuff. And until next time, okay, I just cannot leave it on this sad note. Okay, that's better. Now, I want to say one last thing. Always remember to have a ducky day.